Overstein, and today we'll be going over a presentation for a private all-women's gym, and it is proposing the idea of a beginner weightlifting class. We'll start with the needs analysis. So for the purpose of this project, the survey as well as the data is manufactured. However, this is a idea of a needs analysis that could be posted in a all-women's gym to then determine what kind of classes or programs would be most beneficial to the members and the gym itself. As I said, this is all manufactured for the purpose of this project, and a simple survey with 3 questions was posted via QR code around the gym. The 3 questions were: what kind of classes would you like to see offered? When do you prefer to go to the gym? And what was your primary goal for joining an all-women's gym? After leaving the survey up for around 4 weeks, the data was compiled together and made it to the pie charts below. Based on the data, we have concluded that a beginner weightlifting class with 2 class options, being early morning and night, 3 times a week, will benefit the gym and its members. So the goals of this class in the program is to teach women how to structure a weekly and daily workout, teach women how to use proper form for safe lifting, create an environment for women to feel safe and comfortable, learning to lift correctly, and most importantly, to have fun. So as we think about these goals, the first one, we want this program to be beneficial for the gym as well as its members. So to aid in increasing business at the gym, we want to not only provide an opportunity for these women to work out in a class setting, but also teach them how to create their own workouts that they can then use on their own. That way, the women will come to the gym regardless of whether they are part of a class or not, and they may even bring a friend or two once they feel more comfortable in what they're doing at the gym. And one of the biggest parts about this program, since it is geared towards beginners, is teaching women how to lift safely and properly. As the instructor, this means that there's going to be a lot of explaining and correcting form during the class. Our third goal of creating an environment, a safe environment for women to feel comfortable beginning to lift. As we saw from our survey, we can see that a major reason why women join all women's gyms is to feel more comfortable. So it's important to remember that in these classes, the class is open to all skill levels. So one must be ready to teach the basics and eager to help when participants need it. And finally, most importantly, have fun. The main goal of any fitness club or organization is to promote a healthy and active lifestyle for our community. And in order to do that, we must create an environment that is fun and inviting and allows these women to want to come back and keep exercising day to day. Safety. Safety rules are a big part of any gym, especially in a lifting class. So it is important to stress safety rules to the participants of the class. For the most part, the safety rules of the class are very similar to that of the gym. Make sure you're using the equipment correctly, you're wearing proper attire, and another way to keep our participants in this class safe is to pair them up with other participants of equal strength levels. That way they have a spotter if they need any help while they're lifting, especially if it's just one instructor running the class. They can't be at every rack at the same time to be able to help. So pairing up is a great opportunity to not only have those spotters for safety, but again, it's bringing that fun environment, allowing people to become friends, meeting new people. Also in a class setting, it's essential to emphasize the need to listen. So although we are there for fun, we need to remember that these are heavy weights and they're dangerous, and it's important for the members of our class to be paying attention and understanding what's being asked of them and the safety protocols for that specific lift or exercise. So as I mentioned, as one of our goals, form first. Form is so important, especially for these beginner athletes, these beginner women that are coming in just starting their journey. So it's very, very crucial that we are focusing on form. One big thing is recording participants. Make sure, of course, that they are comfortable with it before you record anybody. However, recording them gives them an opportunity to go home, look at that film, or even right there in the moment, look at that film and see what either needs to be improved on or what they're doing really well on. Marketability. An all-women's gym is already very marketable, and adding classes and opportunities for women to start a healthier lifestyle in an environment they feel comfortable in will bring more women to the gym. Below, I have an example of a promotional poster that can be displayed promoting the new class, as well as a social media post that can be included on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, wherever else it feels appropriate to post, just to spread the word and get it out there. So, inclusion and legalities. As mentioned before, for times we want to make it inclusive, allow as many women who want to come to the class. So based on the needs analysis, most members work out either early morning from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. or late night 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. So the class will be held 2 times a day, 3 times a week, which will be probably Monday, Wednesday, Friday, to give members an opportunity to come either in that early morning or that afternoon. And the 3 times a week allows our participants of the class to get enough rest in between, especially since they are beginners and some of them, this may be their first time lifting weights. So we want to allow optimal time for their body to recover in between those classes. Another part of inclusion is strength level. So all strength levels are welcome. By offering a wide variety of weight options, all strength levels can come to the class. The class is geared towards beginners, so many participants may just be starting at a lower weight, but as I mentioned, lifting weights is something that is very easy to gear towards a specific person. So if you need to add more weight, add more weight. If you need to add less weight or take off weight, take off weight. And then legal issues, especially on something like an all-women's gym, there's a lot of legality around it. So in the state of Texas, women-only gyms are legally allowed to operate, since Texas does not have any statewide accommodation laws that prohibit discrimination based on gender. And as far as federal, under Title II of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, it does prohibit discrimination based on race, gender, religion, etc. However, private clubs are exempt from this, as they can have certain membership criteria. For example, an all-women's gym, or as we've seen, all-male golf clubs, stuff like that. As long as it's a private club, they are able to have that membership criteria without violating federal law. So cost and budget. Since this program will be held in a gym, most of the equipment and the staff is already included in the budget. However, below I did account for if a new member needed to be hired to teach the class, as well as, let's say, an item or two to be bought to add to the gym, just to kind of, entice people to come into the class. So, for example, we have a new fitness instructor to lead the class. For a class setting, on average in the state of Texas, we're looking around, for a class instructor, it was around $58,000 a year, so rounding that up to about $60,000 per year. And then the price for 2 new preacher curl bench, and then some resistance bands as well. So talking about the personnel and staff that is going to be used for this class, based on the survey, the class will occur twice a day, 3 times a week. The staff that is needed to keep the class running smoothly is as followed. So an instructor that is CPR AED certified and has a certification recognized from an organization such as the National Academy of Sports Medicine in fitness instruction. They will be creating a weekly and class plans to instruct, motivate, and demonstrate in classes. A receptionist will also likely be needed to let members in and out of the gym during classes. Like I said, this is already being held in a gym, so if this is during normal gym hours, a receptionist will probably already be at the gym. A staff member to aid in cleaning after classes, so whether there's already one on retainer or if there is someone who already has that designated job, we can just use them for the cleaning after classes. And then a staff member to maintain the class schedule and marketing of classes. So if there is already a marketing team member on the team, they can take over that responsibility. If not, that is another consideration in the cost and budget of the program. So materials needed, as I mentioned before, that the program will take place in a gym, and most of the equipment in these exercises are already equipped in most standard gyms. So below is just a general list of different things that would be used in a weightlifting class, such as, or a beginner weightlifting class, such as this one. So we have a list just of probably more needed and then recommended just for some extra things, but stuff we could definitely get around if we did not have in the gym. So here's an example of what a class could look at, or what a class would look like in this program. This is specifically an idea of a lower body focus class for this program. We have our exercises, our sets, what we would tell the women, what muscles they should focus or feel activating as they're doing the sets, and then tips for form, such as during a sumo squat, make sure we have a wide stance with your toes slightly pointed out, ensuring that we keep that neutral spine and our chest up. Same thing for the RDLs, keeping that neutral spine, making sure we're telling them to hinge at the hips and pushing back. And one big thing, if adjustments are needed, of course, it's a beginner class, so we're definitely open to adjustments. One would be for the barbell RDL. If they're having a hard time feeling the muscles engaged or doing it properly, you could switch to single leg RDL, just to give them one leg to focus on engaging those muscles so they could feel it more before they move on to that barbell RDL. So yeah, here is a great example of a class, and then an example of what a week could look like. As I mentioned before, we would do it 3 times a week to allow optimal rest periods in between. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, or just want to further discuss on the program, I did leave my email. Feel free to reach out to me. Besides that, thank you for listening to the presentation, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.